Galactic aliens left their deadly wolf and her cubs to die until a human gave them a second chance. 1,500 words. The first time Elias saw the wolf, she was bleeding into the snow. Her breath came out in sharp, frosted gasps. 3 cubs, small, trembling, silver-furred things, were huddled at her side, mewling weakly. One was so still Elias thought it was already dead, and around them nothing. No ship, no trail, no sign of how they'd arrived. Just the high cliffs of Station Vega 12's northern perimeter, where Elias worked as a maintenance tech and part-time scavenger. He should have walked away, but he didn't. They're Varathi hunters. His friend Cora hissed later that night when he told her, "Those things kill squads of soldiers without blinking. They don't bond. They don't feel. They're bred for war." Elias glanced out at the storm beyond the dome. She was shielding her cubs. Cora slammed her cup down. "That's instinct, not love. You help them, and you'll bring the whole damn outpost down on your head." Elias didn't reply. He just slipped on his coat and went back into the snow. He called the mother shade, though she never told him her name. She let him near only because the smallest cub was dying. Its ribs were visible beneath the fur, its breath shallow. Elias didn't ask permission. He pulled the pup from under her body, ignoring the snarl and the flash of fangs, and rushed it back to his quarters. He warmed it with thermal wraps, fed it protein fluid drop by drop, and when it finally opened its eyes and whimpered, Shade howled from beyond the cliff, so loud it echoed off the ice like thunder. From that night on, she watched him differently. He brought food. He brought heat packs. He never brought weapons. Over days, the cubs regained strength. The biggest one, Elias nicknamed him Fong, started biting his boots. The middle one, Ash, had eyes like molten gold and never blinked. And the smallest, the one he saved, she clung to his coat like he was the only safe thing in the world. He named her Whisper. It was 2 weeks before Shade finally let him touch her. Her side was infected, the injury deep, probably shrapnel, probably for whatever ship or cell had dumped her here. She growled but didn't strike as Elias cleaned the wound. "Did they abandon you?" he asked gently. "Too injured to fight?" She said nothing, just stared. Then, faintly, in a voice like smoke and stone, "Useless." Elias froze. "You speak." She looked away. "Not supposed to." "Why?" "We are weapons. Weapons don't weep, or beg, or bleed." She lowered her head. "They left us to die." The next day, Elias made a choice. He smuggled the entire family into the back tunnels beneath Vega 12. Not the clean, polished corridors above, but the lower guts, power ducts, forgotten crawl spaces, the places no one patrolled. He built a nest of thermal blankets and scavenged foam, rigged up a lightless heater, and Shade curled around her cubs and didn't snarl when Whisper crawled into Elias's lap. But secrets don't stay hidden on Vega 12. Security flagged as stolen supplies. Someone spotted him hauling protein packs into Sector 9's waste chutes. Cora intercepted him in a panic. "They're sending a patrol. They know you're hiding something." Elias didn't even argue. He just ran. By the time the patrol reached the ducts, the family was gone. Elias had rigged a crawler, an old mining transport, and hidden them inside. He drove them out beyond the station limits, across ice flats no one mapped, until the stars seemed sharper and the wind screamed louder. There, in the hollow of a collapsed ridge, he built a shelter, solar-powered, camouflaged, silent. He didn't care about the outpost. He didn't care about the warnings. He just cared that Whisper no longer trembled when the wind blew. Winter deepened. Shade's strength returned. She hunted with terrifying precision, her body sleek and silent. But she always returned before nightfall, and always brought back enough for Elias to eat too. Ash learned to mimic Elias's speech. Fong loved chewing wires. Whisper never left Elias's side. He taught them games, words, even songs. And one day, while tending the solar panels, he looked up and saw all 4 wolves standing on a ridge, heads tilted toward the sky, and they were singing, not howling, not screaming, but a harmonic sound, ancient, layered, aching. Elias wept. The signal came 2 days later. A long-range Varathi cruiser appeared in orbit, not a rescue ship, not military. Cleaners, meant to erase what should have died. They sent a message to the outpost. Station Vega. 12 has been flagged for unreturned experimental assets. Assist in identification and disposal. Do not engage. Observe and report. Elias heard it from the smuggled scanner he'd wired into the ridge. He ran back to the den, breath ragged. "They're here," he gasped. Shade stood slowly. Her eyes burned. "They found us." That night, she stood at the mouth of the shelter and looked at Elias. "You gave us more than survival." He swallowed. "You deserve more. You gave us choice." She turned to her cubs, now nearly adolescent, strong and bright and aware. Then she looked up at the stars. Time to finish what they started. The next day, the Varathi came. A squad of sleek drones. Silent. Swift. Too swift. They shot first. But Shade was ready. She launched in the shadows like vengeance made flesh, tearing into metal, scattering sparks. Ash leapt onto a drone's back, whispering coordinates to confuse its sensors. Fong brought down a gunship by biting through its core cable. Whisper stood beside Elias, shaking but holding. He lifted the rifle he hadn't touched in months. "You don't have to fight," he told her. She looked up. Then she sang. Her voice cracked the ice. Her mother joined in. The Varathi reeled. Sonic frequency disruption, Elias realized. Not just music. Defense. Power. Memory. They weren't just wolves. They were legacy. Living songs bred for silence, but meant to speak. In the end, they drove the invaders off. Not with claws alone, but with something the Varathi couldn't control. A family. Months passed. Elias didn't return to the outpost. He didn't need to. The wolves stayed. Built a new den. Chose to live. Not hide. Shade, wounded but proud, watched her cubs grow with a quiet warmth. And one evening, while the aurora shimmered above, she turned to Elias and said softly, "You called us alive, and now we are